Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dimitri Johnson, and you're listening to MMALatestNews.com.
It's time to roll, baby.
Good afternoon, people. Welcome to the preview show. I'm with two main gentlemen. James.
Me.
Mitch. Please press like, subscribe. Go on all our social channels at MMA Latest. Massive feast of fighting action Saturday night. Manchester, we've got Cage Warriors 112, followed by UFC 248. I want to talk about Cage Warriors first. It's a big event. First time Cage Warriors have come to Manchester, and there's a ferocious night of action in store. Jack Cartwright headlining, defending his Bantamweight Championship of the world. SBG are stacking the card. We've got George Smith fighting. We've got Martin Stapleton. But I want to talk about the Jack Cartwright fight. I know you guys haven't seen a lot of Cartwright.
No.
But you were impressed how he won the Bantamweight tournament. I know you were, Mitch.
Definitely. You know, we've spent some time down with him at SBG Manchester and build up. We launched the video yesterday. So make sure to go check that out on the channel, of course. But yeah, he seems like a all-round nice guy, and I'm looking forward to seeing him step in that cage on Saturday night.
So I know you're a boxing man, James. Jack Cartwright, for me, has got absolutely ferocious power. Now, there's certain people in life who have a power where when you hear them hit a pad, it has a noise where it's a different sensation to the normal person. So Prince Nassim Hamed, Golovkin, Wilder, when they hit things, it's a noise. It's like a train hitting something. Jack Cartwright brings this power. Now, how he won the Bantamweight tournament, he fought 2 fights in one night. He was the underdog, and he staunched both men, knocked them both out in the first round. So that's raised his profile up there. And when he fights, he's looking to fucking murder you. He's going to fucking knock you the fuck out, this guy. And I believe he gets in the UFC, Jack Cartwright. He's got a good fan base. He's from Bolton. He's headlining the event. I'm really looking forward to seeing it live and just seeing how that power translates in the octagon. I've seen it on the TV, but I want to see it live when he's fighting Manuel Bilic. How is Bilic going to take the KO, the punch? How is he going to remain conscious when he gets hit by Jack Cartwright?
Well, firstly, Johnny, I love the alliteration, feast of fighting. I like it. You can tell you've done journalism. But secondly, Mitch, I'm very impressed with Jack Cartwright. Obviously, he hits very hard. Johnny mentioned there multiple fights in a night. Very old school, like Pride, the original UFC. What do we make of that format?
It's kind of cool. I think PFL has brought it in as well, haven't they? For their before their finals, they do their 2 fights in one night for the semi-final, I guess it is.
Brendan Loughnane.
Yeah, Brendan Loughnane's going to be hopefully doing it this year. Well, I say hopefully, he's definitely going to be doing it. He's going to be at MSG New Year's Eve, holding that $1 million check. And he's going to actually ball it and fight. You know, we've got the Fighting Out of Manchester podcast, but we've got Mokaev over at IMAS in Oceania this weekend, I believe. We've got
Mohamed Mokaev this weekend.
I believe it's this weekend or next week, but he's just touched down in Australia. We've got Jack Cartwright, we've got Cage Warrior in Manchester. So, you know, fighting within Manchester alone, you know, we talk about fighting in Britain, you expand it and how many people coming through. You've got Birmingham with the Edwards brothers, you've got London, you've got Nottingham, of course, which is a hotbed for it. But, you know, we've got this absolute baller of the champion at Cage Warriors this weekend, and I'm looking forward. It's going to be my first ever MMA event.
Is it?
And we're going to be cage side.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, I want to talk about SBG Manchester. Now, as I've just said, SBG have a lot of fighters who are on the Cage Warriors card, but sort of like I think I was talking to someone from SBG last week about this, like sort of how Irish MMA had a boom. Manchester MMA is having its boom now. Liverpool's had its boom in the past. Manchester MMA is coming back to the forefront. SBG are one of the best gyms in the world, in my opinion. The coach, Matt Inman, is a phenomenal coach, and they've had trial and tribulations. Their mentor and their coach, Carl Tanzwell, sadly passed away a few years ago, and that gym could have folded, and they all stuck together. They're like a tribe. They're like one of those gyms where
It's a family.
It's a family. Like, if you see someone in an SBG shirt, you know that's SBG. Like, they're a tribe, they're a gang, they're all together, all for 1-1-4 mentality. And when you get to the gym, I know me and Mitch went down last week. Mitch has just said the content is on or MMA Latest YouTube channel, so check it out. We went around the gym, and you can just see the atmosphere in the gym. There's a cold-blooded, there's a coldness to it. You have a laugh, don't get me wrong, but these are serious fighters. Like, they're not here to just make up the numbers. They're here to get to the top. And with Matt Inman as their coach, anyone who knows Matt Inman knows this guy's a serious motherfucker. Like, there's people in life who are just serious dudes. You have, like, you can imagine him being a Royal Marine Commando. That's what his job should be. Serious motherfucker. Don't get me wrong, lovely guy. Doesn't like to be interviewed. Doesn't like the publicity.
No.
I'll try and get him.
No,
As much
I was gonna say
publicity
MMA
as
is such a weird sport because there's such an individualism about it where the fighter's pretty much on his own. But if you quarter back, you've got the corner team, you've got their training partners. It's such a weird thing. Like with football, it's a whole team as one.
Yeah.
The team gets the plaudits or the discredit, disrespect, whatever happens. Whereas fighters, you know, the fighter gets all of the eyes on them, and the team almost go silently around. But there's such a team aspect to that, you know, a family aspect that we said, which is pretty special. Within MMA as a whole, it's such a weird thing though. All the eyes are on that one person, but the more you broaden it out, everyone has their own roles.
I think you have some gyms, some people lose a few fights, they complain about the weather, Deontay Wilder's bodysuit, something out the lightning in the show wasn't right, it was too hot. But SBG, there's no excuses. Like their training partners or their team could have gone completely the other way when Carl Tanzon passed away. They could have thought, is the gym
go find another gym, go find another trainer.
Exactly, go and find another gym, thought about themselves. But did they do that? No. They all stuck together like a team. And now they're reaping the benefits. Like they've got Davey Grant, who's in the UFC. And Matt was telling me last week on the MMA Later channel that he believes that a lot of the Cage Warriors divisions will be SPG Manchester
champions.
That's what he firmly believes. And this guy doesn't say things for the fun of it. This guy seriously fucking believes it. And they're an impressive stable. They really are. I'm looking forward to watching them fight on Saturday.
I am.
Really looking forward to it. And I just don't think people know the story of SBG Manchester. If you can, I've got a podcast, Inside the Mind of a Fighter podcast. Matt Inman was on it. Give that a listen because Matt really details the origins of SBG, how the founder Matt Thornton, how John Kavanagh from Ireland, how they're all together. And what Matt was telling me was this, and it was pretty crazy actually, because he told me this quote from Bruce Lee. I think it was, discard what is useless. Oh, forgot the quote. Matt forgot it as well. It's a Bruce Lee quote. But
so Google Bruce Lee.
It's a Bruce Lee quote. Discard what is useless, take what specifically you own. I can't remember the quote. Anyway, funny enough though, Conor McGregor, before he fought Donald Cerrone, said this quote with, Ariel Helwani, that interview. He said it right at the end. And it just made me think, and it was mental, because Matt told me the quote 2 weeks before Conor McGregor said it. And it sort of shows how SBG as a family, because there's not just SBG Manchester, there's SBG in Ireland with John Kavanagh, there's SBG in America, there's like a ridiculous stat. I think there's like 50 of them in like 50 continents around the world. Like, they are a massive global family, they really are. So it's not just one gym in one town, it's a worldwide association. So it's a phenomenal gym, SBG. It really is.
Got a quote here: absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, and add what is specifically your own. And Bruce Lee was the epitome of martial arts, and he's probably not the founding father of mixed martial arts. With Jeet Kune Do, he brought everything in, taken from karate, kickboxing, taekwondo, tai chi, and really building it all together. And now we've got this beautiful sport that he would be proud of, to be fair.
Yeah, well, when Matt was telling me, like, in detail, like, how SBG think of training methods, like, he goes home, looks at his computer, he's always researching things, and he was a fighter. Matt was a phenomenal fighter in his own right. He should have been in the UFC, high-level striking, was a pro boxer, and the way he trains, he will be the best coach in the world at some point. There's not a shadow of a doubt.
Well, you got to see, that SBG family have got something special about them. Where we see the likes of John Kavanagh, and John Kavanagh's repeatedly said about himself and Conor McGregor, they have 20-minute attention spans, and then they're thinking about the next jiu-jitsu move, the next kick, how to throw this punch.
I mean,
it's always just entwined in their mind.
They're always evolving. They're very close with Gunnar Nelson. Gunnar Nelson's
you got Saul Rogers at SBG.
Saul Rogers.
Got some top quality people.
Martin Stapleton. They've had fighters throughout the years, but they're really starting to really dominate now in the British
Levi
scene.
Steedman, who we spoke to, is
killing
it in the women's flyweight division.
Phenomenal female MMA fighter. She fought against a girl called Dakota. I think it's Ditcheria. Crap with names. But watch the fight. Dakota against Levi, get it on YouTube, and like I say, I was salting the popcorn for that. It was a phenomenal fight. It was better than a UFC fight. I was watching that and thinking, fucking hell, this is a serious high-level fight. And these two were only amateurs. So they'll be in the UFC, Levi and Dakota.
Definitely.
100%. They're marketable. I think Levi's got like that Misha Tate vibe. Dakota's got a bit of... Dakota's a fucking killer. She's got like that Ronda Rousey, blonde hair and all that Ronda Rousey aspect to her. But she's a killer, so... British MMA is on the research, and it's good to see Manchester MMA. It's good to see back at the form.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're looking forward to Cage Warriors. But the nuts and bolts Saturday night, me and James will be doing the watch along. Adesanya, Romero.
Boom. I am excited for this one. Romero, win, lose or draw, he's got to be one of the most exciting fighters of UFC history. And Mitch, I know your anxiety is going through the roof. You absolutely adore Israel Adesanya,
yes.
But let's face it, Yoel Romero can end a fight in the click of a finger. He's about as dangerous a fighter as there is. Mitch, you're shaking, you're all over the place. You can't control your nerves, you're sweating profusely.
Yes.
How are you coping?
You know what, I have to go with my heart with Adesanya here. He's undefeated and he's proved, everyone said he was going to lose to Robert Whittaker. Everyone thought he was going to lose to Gastelum. Everyone said Anderson Silva would be too much for him, would be an Anderson Silva that's way past his prime. Every time he's come up to this hurdle, he gets told no and he just bashes through it. It's almost like how Conor McGregor rose through. Everyone was saying, Dennis Steele will be the next guy. Chad Mendes would beat him. Jose Aldo's undefeated. He can't be beaten. And he wipes through them all. And I think we got a little aspect of this weekend. The main worry for me is Friday night. What happens with Yoel Romero? I'm hoping he makes weight. He said he will. He's had two fights against Rockhold and Whittaker where he's missed weight.
Confirmed then, if he said he's going to make weight.
Yeah, he's had 2 fights where he's missed weight, and Romero brings an absolute war. You see, Whittaker went 10 rounds, and you take a 6 months to a year out after you fight Romero, which I think. Coming on to this year, I think Adesanya's had 8 fights in the UFC in 2 years. Yeah,
he's about as active a fighter as you can get. He's like a Donald Cerrone that wins.
Yes, continuously as well.
He's absolutely even his ring walk, we talk so much about how much personality matters. He came out of diversity, it seemed, in his last fight. And he walked to the octagon and won. You see people like Deontay Wilder come out in ridiculous suits and lose. There's something about Israel Adesanya. He was so calm, so collective.
Captivates you.
Yeah, he didn't burn up any nervous energy. He's just got that.
You forget he's like 31 years of age as well. You think he's still like this 24, 25. Well. Yeah. It's like you think he's still on the rise, but he's got that. I think he's got 1 loss in kickboxing, 60 wins. I think he's got in kickboxing.
He's been around the block.
So he's a seasoned veteran now in his career.
One sec. Get one sec.
Oh, is Johnny about to make one of his Mystic Mac predictions?
Something's coming to me now. We all know my predictions. I've not gone on about my predictions.
Definitely not.
Fury and Wilder fight. No.
Tell you what, he nailed one prediction. He's got every other one wrong. He nailed the Fury one, and he's living off it.
Something's coming to me, right? I'm seeing a fucking dogfight. I'm seeing Adesanya.
Dogfight.
I'm seeing
Gastelum.
No, I'm seeing Adesanya. First 2-3 rounds, keeping them at bay, lighting them up a bit, and then championship rounds, I can see Romero getting to him, taking him down. I can see both men are blooded. It's a fucking clash to the death, basically. 2 men, a dogfight, war, battlefield, everything you can think of in a fight.
Oh, don't. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I'm probably more excited for this at the moment than I am for Khabib and Tony.
Well, that's absolutely mental. That's the biggest fight in the sport. But Mitch,
I'm just in that flying knee.
Nobody comes through a fight with Yoel Romero unscathed. At some point, he's going to connect to Adesanya. Adesanya could well wobble.
You know what?
Can Adesanya get through the storm? He's done it before with Kelvin Gastelum, but Romero's a different kettle.
Well, he's a dog. He's a dog. He brings a dog in the fight.
I think Gastelum had the wrestling aspect. Whittaker had the power aspect, and he's dealt with them both. Now you put them both together, you got Yoel Romero, and I'm getting visions of that flying knee against Chris Weidman at UFC 205 this weekend. He's going to launch it at some point.
It's too tall. I can't see it. It's too tall.
Yeah, it's true. He's too tall, too lean. He's got very good movement. He's copied the playbook of Anderson Silva and probably a little bit of John Jones mixed in. He's an absolute student of the game. He's the last style bender.
Oh, sorry. When you're saying about the flying knee, you're talking Adesanya?
No, I think both. Adesanya is probably that type of guy who would throw a flying knee at Romero.
No,
but I think vice versa.
Reason being, I think Adesanya is going to be hesitant because he knows if he flies in with that, he's going to be taken down. You don't want Romero on top of you. So I think it's going to be very smart from Adesanya. I think he's going to keep him at bay.
It's going to be a kickboxing match for him.
Yeah, lead kicks, front kicks, a few elbows, just keeping them at bay. Because remember, his distance is he has a phenomenal reach over Romero, so he can be out of range.
I just got it. His reach is 6.5 inches longer.
There literally might as well be an extra cage. His reach is so long. But Mitch, I want to talk to you about this. When Yoel Romero fought Robert Whittaker clearly the better striker, and Adesanya is an even better striker than Robert Whittaker.
As we saw.
That would suggest... Don't be like that. You know that broke my heart, that guy. But as it suggests, obviously, Adesanya should be able to keep him at bay as well. However, when Yoel Romero did shoot for a takedown, Robert Whittaker was a representative of Australia at the Commonwealth Games. Of course, Dana White didn't actually let him compete, but that's how good his wrestling is. He was able to stop Romero taking him down. Izzy doesn't have quite as good takedown defense. Not slating that defense, but it isn't as good. If Yoel Romero grabs hold of him, it's an Olympic silver medalist in freestyle wrestling. Izzy's probably
versus a
gone to the
kickboxer.
deck. What's Izzy going to do if he's on the ground?
It's going to be interesting. We've not seen much of Adesanya on the ground. He's always, been on his feet, and he's always had that range about him. Now it's going to be interesting. There's Romero, for someone so sort of bulky, he's so explosive. Obviously, from the wrestling takedown. I don't know if you've watched the countdown shows that UFC do. His training procedures are mental. Not quite Tony Ferguson levels mental, but he's an absolute athlete. For 43 years of age, he's got a fused.
He's a freak of nature.
He's got fused discs in his neck, so he can't move his neck. But he's an absolute warrior. But I don't know how I can go against Adesanya. I don't know how I can.
It's the... If Romero makes it a dogfight, Adesanya's in the world of trouble. If Adesanya can pick him off and keep him at range, which I think he will do for the first 3 rounds, but it's when it gets 4 and 5 when you're a little bit more tired and you can't judge the distance. You've been hit a few times, your head's a bit clouded, and you've got this freak of nature in front of you looking to take you down. That constant pressure of this guy coming at you. I think the 4th, 5th rounds, I think at some point...
To be fair, I think Adesanya probably is... I mean, we've not... Again... So he's 2 years into the UFC, but we've not seen him, deal with adversity. He's always been calm and collected, and he seems to be able to slow things down in the octagon, which is always and
that's what Romero can't do. He can't let Adesanya dictate the fight. If it's just a range fight,
who do you see taking centre control of the octagon? Do you see Romero centre and then Adesanya right?
Will be coming out,
making doing the movement.
But I also think that. There's a word called educated pressure, and Tyson Fury did it against Wilder. You can't just lunge forward, because if he just lunges forward, he's opening himself up to kicks, to head kicks, to flying knees, all sorts of things. Elbow potentially getting sliced open. So he has to pick his time. He has to try and feint with a jab. And lots of feints. So when he feints with a jab, at that exact second he can shoot in and grab. And once he gets hold of Adesanya, if he gets hold of him, he's in a world of trouble, Adesanya. So he has to somehow circle out the way, create angles. He can't.
He's very good at that. He seems to be very good at that.
He's very good at that. It's technical fighter against a brawler.
It's skill versus power, as we debated last week.
It's not like Yoel Romero doesn't have skill. I mean, that Olympic silver medal, you don't get them if you don't have skill. He's not just a powerhouse.
Well, is he like the 1% of wrestlers in Cuba or something like that? The way he came up the school of sports in Cuba, you can't progress until you beat a certain level. It's ridiculous.
Incredibly talented. But you mentioned before, Mitch, that Adesanya hasn't dealt with adversity. The Kelvin Gastelum fight, we know that Adesanya has a bit of dog in him. He's not just a slick striker. But he has got the heart of a warrior.
He has, but is it Romero adversity? Like, there seems to be an extra
Kelvin
level.
Hits like a mule. He really put him through it. Many a fighter would have given up that.
But then again, he's a 170 that's come up, not a...
He is.
Or arguably a light heavyweight coming down.
Is even more of a scary proposition than Kelvin Gastelum. And, Robert Whittaker found out twice that he can take years off your career.
Yeah, Rockhold's not been the same. Whittaker's arguably not been the same.
Well, let's go back.
Careers.
I want to give Michael Bisping the credit for Luke Rockhold not being the same.
True.
Completely took his soul.
True.
And I remember when Yoel Romero flying knee Chris Weidman and Joe Rogan commented flying knee knocked him out in such
He's out cold.
Remember, he didn't go mentally. It was just such a lackadaisical thing because that's just what Yoel Romero does. And Michael Bisping was standing across.
Chris Weidman's not been the same since.
Exactly. Chris Weidman's not been the same for about 25 years. But Michael Bisping was doing like this, the steroid motions, all that sort of stuff.
I love you.
And Michael Bisping's as game as they come, but I would have been absolutely terrified.
Well, we'll see what Gastelum did to Bisping. You just
don't be like that, right?
I love Michael Bisping, and he took that on 3 weeks after fighting GSP.
On a full camp, it's a completely different proposition.
Yeah, and it's his retirement fight as well.
Bisping's one of the greatest to ever.
He is. He's the godfather of UK MMA.
He is, and we talk about like Jack Cartwright, all these Cage Warriors fights coming through. They wouldn't be getting the opportunities if Michael
Definitely not.
He was the pioneer, Bisping. He was the first one who went in the Ultimate Fighter. He won the Ultimate Fighter tough. I'm talking when the Ultimate Fighter was good,
like 2006, something like that.
Yeah, a bit earlier than that.
Time ago.
Yeah, so he put British MMA on the map. He was the poster boy for a long time, way before Conor McGregor, way before I know Conor McGregor's fighting, but He was the poster boy, so he set the.
He's the reason why we've got Darren Till and all these Leon Edwards people coming through now.
Bisping, I know, and I like to see it's the case with any fights. I think when they retire, they get the love because it's like one of them. It's you don't miss something until it's actually
and
we miss Michael.
And to add to that,
Michael, I'll never get that buzz again watching a UFC. I remember when he got beat by GSP.
What do you make of him? What do you make of him on commentary at the moment?
I think he's fantastic.
He's class, isn't he? He's absolutely class.
Podcast as well.
His podcast is brilliant with Louis J. Gomez, but
I think he's a great talker. But I saw a video, didn't he? He's got like a fake eye.
Yeah, he's got a glass eye.
That is ridiculous. I mean, this guy. If you want to talk about going to the battlefield and back.
Bisping knows.
Bisping, he's like a bionic.
The fact that he lost to Rockhold and Henderson in the first fight, and he went, just take him again.
You know what I really loved
just
about
take it again. You don't have to do that.
Really,
Anderson Silva.
Sorry, Mitch. I really admire this because every time he steps up in level, he never got the break. I remember he fought Rashad Evans. I think it was like 2011, 12, might be 2010. And they were both prospects at the time, and it was a close fight. I thought Bisping won. He never got the decision. He fought Vanderlei Silva. Again, he should have got the decision. He fought Chael Sonnen. He won the fight. Again, he never got the decision. So he was just a fraction away from winning those big fights. And I said to myself, he's never going to win a world title. He's a nearly man, no matter how much he's excited me. And then when he did that against Rockhold, I was made up for him because it was like the good guy who's won.
He deserved it. I mean,
did he do all that? He did all that in 1 year, didn't he? Anderson Silva, Rockhold, Henderson. Is that one of the best years? You got probably Conor McGregor 12 months from Aldo to Alvarez. You got 12 months as well. It's up there, one of the best years.
I'll say it's one of the greatest years of all time because he's beat arguably the greatest of all time. Then won the world championship.
The prospect
is a 10-1 underdog, and then avenged the biggest knockout.
And he came on that fight
history.
2 weeks' notice. Was it the title fight?
2 weeks' notice. He was filming a movie in like Toronto.
Triple X, wasn't it?
But as you say that, I mean, obviously a lot of people didn't think Bisping was going to win. Maybe it came from the heart, but I was about as 1,000,000% confident that Bisping was going to win as anybody could possibly be. I was telling everybody he will find a way somehow. It just felt like the stars aligned that night. It was in Hollywood, and he did it.
Yeah, it was one of them moments where. And that's the thing about UFC. You do get these moments where you jump out your seats. And we talked about this last week. McGregor, Aldo was one. Obviously, Masvidal and Askren, and that Bisping and Rockhold one. I was jumping in front of the TV. I was like, "Fucking come on!"
He's done it. It wasn't just.
Goosebumps.
It wasn't that night. It was 15 years of lead up to that night.
Correct.
All those almost getting to that title shot, almost getting there, and always being brought back 3-4 fights.
Are you welling up a bit?
Yeah, no, I was about to sneeze. I just caught it.
I think it is emotional.
It is an emotional story. It is an emotional
I could cry over the Michael Bisping story. It's incredible.
One thing I do want to say is to go on that Romero's last fight was against Paulo Costa, which he narrowly lost. I think it was a split decision loss.
There was a lot of criticism about the decision. I agree. I thought Paulo Costa won the fight.
So, he's coming off, I think it's a 2-fight loss streak, Romero here. Do you think, it was weird that Adesanya called him out, but Adesanya wants it for his legacy. Do you believe that we got the right opponent?
I do believe so. With Paulo Costa out the picture, Yoel Romero, I think, is the right man to fill in. I mean, a lot of people saying, well, he's lost, but does it matter? I mean, the Yoel Romero-Paulo Costa fight was very close.
Yeah.
And why...
You're always tuning in to
It was a good fight, wasn't it, Costa-Romero? I mean, let's say Romero does beat Adesanya. I have no issue with Romero and Costa doing 5 rounds with each other.
No.
So I'm content with it.
Would you do Romero-Whittaker 3?
Can my heart take it again? Can I go through that again?
I mean, Whittaker was meant to be on this card, as was Cannonier. Whittaker pulled out with personal reasons. Jared Cannonier seemed to torn the pectoral muscle. We've had temptations with Darren Till, who seems to be pulling up a bit of the bromance with Israel Adesanya. I think their paths will be crossing very soon, and that'd be interesting. But
that's a fight I'd like to see.
That's a fight I'd like to see because Darren Till's a bigger guy going into that one as well. In terms of size.
He was just at welterweight, yet he's still probably the biggest middleweight now.
But that's what I mean. That's why I said he should never go down.
He said that he could probably go from welterweight up to light heavyweight if he really wanted to.
I mean, the size, the back, the size of him at welterweight, and that's why for me it hindered his career. I've said this a few weeks ago. Those last 2 fights he lost against Masvidal and
Woodley.
Against Woodley, and he didn't look the same. He didn't look sharp. He didn't look explosive. And he's an explosive fighter, Till. He's got phenomenal striking. He really is. Mm-hmm. He needs to be at a weight that he's optimum at, and he's comfortable. And that's where you see the best of him. And I can see him winning the...
it's a shame he's not on that London card. It's a shame that he's not on there.
I think not finding Liverpool, though?
No. I think he's been promoted up to that. He's now on that pay-per-view only level now, I think, where he's the big star now. He's probably our poster boy at the moment. Well, most definitely our poster boy. He's good on the mic. He can sell tickets, and he's probably going to fight Cannonier next. Where, I don't know.
I heard on the Fight Disciples that he's going to be headlining a fight night
At Dublin?
in America.
Oh, in America.
In America somewhere. I can't remember where they.
Well,
said
Jack
was.
Hermansson's fighting Chris Weidman, isn't he? So that's out of the picture now. So him and Cannonier, I don't know where, but
There's a lot
that
of
could probably
fights, though,
happen.
in the middleweight division for Till to take. There's
Yeah.
a lot of, because he doesn't have to go straight
Well,
to
to be fair, even
championship
Till
level.
versus Whittaker, I don't know if Whittaker's going to be returning anytime
There's loads
soon.
of
That
fights.
division. When
It's a good
Bisping
division.
won it, you were looking at it was Bisping, Rockhold, Romero,
Weidman.
Jacare, Anderson Silva, Weidman. And even
it's
now, I
refreshed.
still think that division was the best in the UFC at that time. And I think now it still is because you've got Izzy, Yoel,
Yeah, I think
Paolo,
it's
Rob
close.
Whittaker, Darren Till,
I
Jared
think-
Cannonier,
I think-
Kelvin Gastelum, who keeps getting forgotten
Yeah.
about.
He's
I-
still a phenomenal
I think
fighter.
lightweight's the best at the moment with who we've got, but I think middleweight, lightweight.
Who?
Khabib, Tony, Gaethje, McGregor,
It's a good
Dustin
division.
Poirier.
They're both very, very.
I think
it's definitely
those
got
two are the
bigger
best.
names. In terms of talent, though, I mean, Israel's a serious talent.
Oh yeah, he's he's probably my favourite fighter at the moment. Like, him and probably Max Holloway are my favourite too.
Have you ever had a fighter you prefer to Israel Adesanya, or is he the one that you really
I don't know.
emotionally invested in?
It's weird. I think I'm trying to work out because obviously I came into this late at UFC 205, but I've not seen anyone where I've seen a debut and seen such a projection since then. But I don't know. It's just weird. He's a bit of a nerd, a bit of a gamer like myself. He's got a good personality. He's made some stupid comments
Can he
recently.
dance like him?
Definitely not. He's got a dancing ahead of me and the kickboxing ahead of me. But it's just something star power.
There is.
Him.
There's
to him.
marketability like that. That entrance.
I hope we get a UFC Africa soon because obviously he's got Nigeria descendancy. So we've got Ngannou there. We've got Rosenstruck, South American.
Usman.
Yeah, Usman. We've got all those people in Africa there that it's time they got a card. John Jones said he would be on that card as well. Probably, he said he tempted against Ngannou. I don't think that happened, but
in Nigeria.
yeah.
Yeah, Mitch, I want you to talk me through your emotions because I remember watching a Bisping or watching a Whittaker, or if you're boxing, Kiri, Crawler, even Chocolatito, we were talking about in a video last week. The emotions you feel when watching them when they get hit, it's horrible. You have that horrible, sick feeling.
Yeah.
What do you feel when watching Israel Adesanya fight?
I normally when I see a fighter that I really want to see do well, I normally get a little nervous, like shaking, like just very anxious, shaking, a little cold. You get goosebumps. I got that with McGregor against Mayweather just because I was on the MMA side, saying what's going to happen here. We knew what was going to happen, but you only get it. You only get it a few times. I got it against Adesanya, against Silva. I think that was the first time I got it because it was that aspect of we've got this new guy coming up, and we've got Anderson Silva, who's probably the best of all time, and it's the student becoming the master.
It was an old.
It was, but it was a video game fight. It was the student becoming the master. It's almost the final level, and there was just something special about it as well.
No, I agree. I agree. It was the changing of the guard.
Yeah.
So they say. But Adesanya, he's having tough fights. The problem.
Who comes out and says I'm going to fight Romero?
Yeah, exactly. So he's a gamer.
Mentalist.
Even Darren Till has come out and said I'll fight any middleweight but Romero. He's scary.
So obviously you mentioned that you're a bit of a gamer yourself, self-proclaimed nerd.
Yes.
But Israel Adesanya obviously fits into that same bracket. What's it like for you to say relate to a fighter? You go he's a bit like myself. Do you almost see yourself in a fight? Because when I'm watching my favourite fighters, it's almost like I'm in the cage.
Yeah.
Do you have that sort of emotion?
Yeah, it is a weird one. We're football fans, and it's like you have a connection to a team, but you don't have the connection to a person
It's
as you do
different,
in
isn't it?
fighting. You want, you see their health on the line. You see perhaps their career blow up from the next point to the next point, and it's such a weird feeling. Going from a team sport to an individual sport.
I don't know why, because
It's weird.
Sorry, Mitch. In fighting, the good promoters, like we talked about before, the Eddie Hearns, the Bob Aarons,
Dana White.
Frank Rowan, the Dana White, the best promoter. Do you want to know who is the best promoter in history? Who do you think the best in?
Are you going to say Don King?
No, Vince McMahon. Now, Vince McMahon is
Yeah.
the best promoter. in
He
history
started all of this.
because how he sells with the products. It's just fake. The product's fake. I used to be a big WWE fan. We talked about it a few weeks ago. But he sells out 20, 30,000 seat stage every single week.
Well,
twice a
WrestleMania
week.
is like 70, 80,000.
And even to this day, and they're not real fighting, it's fake, it's entertainment,
yeah.
but it's put on a sports channel. It's like, it's a soap.
It's on BT Sport now.
I mean,
It's unbelievable how Vince McMahon has done that. So the reason I was putting in about fighters, about being invested in them, with footballers, you're not invested with them. You're not going to go.
There's not a storyline there either, is there?
You don't see the storylines because they're in the team. They're protected. Everything they say in the media conference, even the managers when they're doing conferences with the press, it's all the media trained answers. They're all pre-told what to say, especially with footballers. That's why when you get someone like James Maddison, when he comes out, people like that because he shows a bit of personality.
Jack Grealish seems to be the personality at the moment.
Bit of personality. With fighters, you are invested because you know their stories. The good promoters will tell you their stories via social media. With the countdown shows.
We had Ronda Rousey wave, we had Brock Lesnar a little bit, then we had Conor McGregor brought in that wave.
But you see even when you watch a countdown show, you don't see a countdown show in football.
No,
but you'll see a countdown show and you see the family life, how they are with the kids, how they really...
Could you imagine a Sky Sports embedded coming up to the derby?
But they wouldn't do that.
That'd be class.
You know why? Because they get paid. They get paid. Fighters only get paid when they fight. And promoters only get paid when an event comes on. Footballers, you sign the contract for 2 years, so it doesn't matter if you play or not, you're getting paid every single week. So they don't have to promote it, they guarantee that money. In boxing, if you signed a 2-year contract with Eddie Hearn and you were guaranteed a wage every single week,
you'd put half your effort in.
You would put half your effort in. So that's why you have to promote, you have to sizzle the sausage, you have to salt the popcorn.
Salt the popcorn. I mean, as you mentioned with the WWE thing, I remember when I was a kid watching it and you got so emotionally attached, like the likes of Rey Mysterio.
Why?
Because Vince promotes it. I mean,
because you knew the story.
Thought Big Show was going to beat Floyd Mayweather.
Well, the Big Show should have beat Floyd. But anyway, being realistic though, I mean, I don't watch WWE now, I'm a bit too old for it, but every year, me and my friend and my brother will tune in for Royal Rumble. It's sort of like a yearly thing. And I remember Edge came back this year, and you sort of have that emotion of when you're a kid.
It's nostalgia.
You hear his intro music, and you see, I can't believe he's back. The rated R superstar.
When Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, the Hardy brothers came back a couple of WrestleManias ago.
Special moments, but as you said,
Undertaker's theme song
doesn't do that. I mean, I'm not emotionally invested in these football players.
I'm a bit older than you, gentlemen, so I'm back in the day from like Bret the Hitman Hart, Psycho Sid, Stone Cold Steve Austin, even though you'll know The Rock in his heyday.
I know these men.
There's nothing more emotive than when you have a wrestler's song. The Undertaker's music, gives you
iconic.
When the whole room goes black, you're like, where is he? Where is it? And then suddenly the lights go on and he's in the ring.
And it's the purple and that's Vince McMahon. That's created that story that when you know that music comes on.
Well, you know, look how many people have gone there. Tyson Fury, Mike Tyson went there. Floyd Mayweather,
Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, has been there, and I think won in the WWE.
Wayne Rooney.
Yes. That was sad actually because
he got slapped. Wade
Barrett actually is from the same city as me, Preston, and actually went to my primary school, so got a bit of an affiliation with Wade Barrett. And Wayne Rooney, when Preston North End played Manchester United, Wayne Rooney handballed it and then scored, something like that. And Wade Barrett was obviously extremely outspoken about it. And then Wayne Rooney ended up dropping Wade. I'd actually rather have seen Wade who gone off stripped and absolutely battered Wade.
Yeah, I don't think
for what he did to us that night.
I don't think they were allowed to do that, would they? I think
United
would have stepped in on that one. But
I would have liked Wade Barrett to deliver a waistline to Wayne
It's crazy. You've got all these fighters. John Jones attempting to go WWE. They sell their thing is they sell a narrative. They sell a storyline.
They sell it, and it's like when we went down to SBG last week. You couldn't do that with football. You're not going to go. You're not going to be allowed to go to Man United's training ground or Man City's or Liverpool's. You're just not allowed to do that. Even with SBG 9 and with Conor McGregor, you'd be allowed to go there. They'd talk to you. These are good guys.
Yeah, they're just us, really, aren't they?
They're just us, except
just elevated status.
Yeah. Conor McGregor is the biggest superstar in the world, but you put him in a room, you're talking to him how it'd be just like me and you talking.
Over a glass of proper 12, of course.
Absolutely. I mean, if you watch a press conference in football, if a little bit of something said that's a tiny bit outspoken, it's huge news. But whereas in boxing, that's just every single press conference. I mean, they're so media trained.
Because in boxing, you have to sell the fight. In football, you're getting paid regardless if you're injured. Paul Pogba's been injured for the whole year, right? He's still getting paid, so he doesn't have to worry about. He's not bothered. He's getting that payment. He's getting that check every single week. In boxing, anything can happen. The fight can get cancelled.
Injury.
UFC as well. To promote those pay-per-view numbers, a lot of UFC. There's a whole controversy with how the UFC pay the fight.
ESPN Plus now as well. That paywall.
UFC get a percentage of, like, if you're on a pay-per-view card, you will get a percentage of pay-per-view sales. So it's in your interest to boost that pay-per-view up, to sell something, to sell a story.
And to add to that, you don't get a performance of the night or knockout of the night bonus. We get an extra 50 grand on top of that. I don't know what the payments are, but you could end up with 50k for turning up, 50k for winning, and then an extra 50k if you knock someone out.
So the incentives where and we're investing in it because like it's going back to the beginning of the point. The best promoters tell the story. So you want to know Adesanya, you know he's a gamer. I don't know if
Wayne
Pogba's
Rooney's
a
a
gamer
gamer.
or if Marshall's a gamer.
There's
Like,
nothing worse than a fighter coming out and saying, "I know, I let Sean Shelby or the matchmakers to find me a
hate
fight,"
Can't
or
yeah.
thank you. Everyone says thank you, but it's like everyone's like,
Talk to my
just give me the
manager
next one. I don't care.
Yeah, talk to my manager who they say talk to my manager who I'm fighting next. No, go out on the fucking
That's
mic.
worse than saying nothing. You might as well just head
go
out.
out on the mic and say, I want to fucking fight you, motherfucker. And if
Yeah.
you're going to get in my
To be
way,
fair, there's a
you're getting
level.
knocked out.
There's a level you can't go too high up if you're like unranked. You go, I want Khabib or
Depends.
McGregor.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't have
It
that. But
depends who you are. For me, it depends who you are. If you're not a Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather type, if you're not flashy, if you're not confident, if you're trying to come across that way, you're gonna fall. But you can come across like Anthony Crolla. He's a good dude, nice guy.
Proper
Brendan
story.
Loughnan's a
Proper
nice
good story.
People love these people because they're nice people. They'll come and speak to you in the street. If you put them a comment on Instagram,
oh,
they'll reply back
Crolla
to
turns
you.
up and sits in the United fans anyway.
Crolla is
It's what
a diamond.
I don't know anyone who's ever said that this guy is
bad word, yeah.
the nicest guy you've
Well,
ever
he was
met.
down at the AJ Bell off the Salford Red Devils because he's one of the sponsorships sponsored
Yeah.
Salford Red Devils, so he went down there for their first home game.
Yeah.
But to bring it back to the card, we've also got another championship fight. We've got the women's strawweights on there
Yeah,
with Zhang Weili
yeah.
versus Joanna Jedrzejczyk.
Joanna.
The strawweight queen is coming back. You know, she had that horrible fight against Rose Namajunas at UFC 217. You know, same night as Bisping GSP, where we saw 3 titles change hand. Rose Namajunas then went off to,
Can't remember it, Mitch.
was it UFC 223? We had the bust incident. We had the rematch. She won that. We didn't see her again. Jessica Andrade won the title against her in Brazil this week or last year at UFC 237. Then Zhang Weili, this undefeated, you know, absolute killer from China, first Chinese UFC champion ever, came and took the belt quite significantly off her. And now we're back with Joanna Jedrzejczyk.
Yeah, it was we've sort of gone full circle of Joanna wins, but it was an extremely destructive performance from Zhang. And there's been a bit of heat in the build. Joanna's been making
Coronavirus
coronavirus
jokes.
jokes.
I love you, Anna.
I mean, the coronavirus just seems to be every now. It's all over the world. In fact, a very high-profile star came out and said that he believes that he has the coronavirus the other day. Philip Schofield is worrying whether he should self-quarantine himself.
Philip Schofield just wants publicity.
Yeah, let's not.
So,
It's been a couple of weeks for Phil.
Moving on.
not have publicity today. So
Moving
he needs
on.
to say something.
Yeah, I mean, he's making a step into the octagon, I think, Philip, so I'm looking forward to it. But either way,
I
I'm
want
not
to
gonna-
ask you, James. Joanna, again, she's been touted as the best female strawweight fighter in the world. Everyone seems to be giving that title, but I do legitimately think she's one of the best female MMA fighters. She'll go down probably in the Hall of Fame, but is she at a crossroads in her career now?
yeah, to an extent. I mean, she was one of the greatest. She went on a ridiculous
Six
unbeaten run.
title defenses. I think
Yes.
she just won behind Rousey or something like that, or
She was
matched Rousey.
She was something special. She had this fierce energy to her. And when she fought Rose Namajunas, she was going, I am the buggy woman, I am coming for you. And it was scary. And Rose Namajunas was stood there saying the Lord's
Just-
Prayer.
That's
in
even-
such a chilling
I think
fashion.
that's more scary than what Joanna was
We
doing.
talked about last week the scary person or the quiet person, and Rose was the quiet person.
And
she played mind games because she
Yeah.
didn't say a word, and that's the
She
worst.
demolished
thing.
her.
If you're trying to talk to someone, you're trying to get in someone's head, and you don't say anything. Like sort of, to be honest, Khabib did it against McGregor. Like I
Yeah.
love Conor to the hill. I do
And
love Conor. I
McGregor
love
got annoyed
Khabib
with
as
that, didn't you? You could see McGregor trying to
could
push
see
and
him
push and
trying-
push.
He could see him get in. Like, 'cause
And I guess
McGregor's a-
Khabib finally snapped after the fight, but
yeah, Khabib stopped in the fight, but you can see Khabib the way he was being quiet. He was the way, and that
there's
was
there's
the
something when you
worst.
believe in your skill set, you know that you're
You
going
don't
to
have
win this
talk,
fight.
But it's going back to the promotion. Khabib doesn't have to talk. He
No,
brings that
I guess-
domination.
Yeah, but then again, you know, he hadn't sold well until we fought McGregor. McGregor and then
But
done so well.
He has that chilling element, does he, Khabib?
Yeah.
But to go back to your point, I mean, yes, she is at a crossroads because she lost the rematch to Rose. It was closer,
Yeah,
but
she
still
can't move
lost.
up to
She moved up,
Shevchenko.
Too
she
big
got dismantled
again.
by Shevchenko, and
Yeah.
it feels like she's been given a shot almost based off
She
name.
beat Michelle Waterson pretty convincingly.
She did, so she's
Tatiana
still-
Suarez is injured. Andrade and Namajunas are fighting again.
She's got a bit left to give, I think. Is it going to be enough? What do we think?
I think her movement, she sort of reminds me of like Manny Pacquiao in boxing. She's fast moving, fast hands, again creating angles. I love fighters like that, but she'd like to get in a dogfight as well. So I just think, is her
She's-
superpowers gone? Is her speed gone? Is her flexibility? Is her coordination just gone down that little bit where she's struggling to reproduce that form? I think as someone trying to attack
No,
us
we're
in the
good.
studio.
We're okay.
By the looks of it, yeah. But if
But
somebody
anyways.
has broken in, we're
Mitch, you can
mid-film,
go
so
It's all right.
Rob, whatever you like, and we'll just continue filming.
No.
But Mitch, I think it's time. That time of the week
Yeah.
again. There's 2 big fights, 2 world championships on the line. I want 2 names. Who wins the title
Well,
fights?
before we go into predictions, I just want to say Joanna Jedrzejczyk has gone, she's been in those 5 rounds championship round fights before, whereas Zhang, she's not gone to that distance. She dealt with Andrade. I think so. I think if you're going early here, I would say a Zhang win because she's got the power, she's got the aggression, she comes out fighting, and how she did deal with Andrade was quite impressive. How she's done it. She's undefeated. We make jokes about the coronavirus, how her camp's been dismantled, perhaps how that camp's gone. She had to go to Thailand for a little bit, and obviously come over to the States. I think with Joanna Jedrzejczyk, she's settled in Miami. She's at American Top Team. She's got Mike Brown with her, so she's got a good team behind her. I would say I want to see Joanna Jedrzejczyk regains that belt just because I'd like to see it. And it's a bit like where we had the Bantamweight division where we saw it go from Holm to Nunes to then, or Holm Tate, then Nunes. And we've got a little bit of the other sort of a champion who defends it pretty much.
I forgot exactly what you said.
But I'm going to say Joanna Jedrzejczyk by decision,
right.
and Israel Adesanya 3rd round TKO.
You're going very specific. I like
Right,
the. You've got a wry smile on your face, Mitch. If
Yeah.
you do
Right,
you
so
know
just,
something I don't?
just say it again for the camera.
Joanna Jedrzejczyk decision.
Yeah.
Israel Adesanya 3rd round TKO.
Right, James.
They're 2 very difficult fights to pick. I'm going to say that Zhang retains her world championship. And I'm going to say, and it's not a confident pick because I think Romero can cause him a lot of problems, but I'm going to say Israel Adesanya retains as well.
I'm going to say Zhang split decision.
Very confident.
You think it's going 5 rounds and the judges...
It's going 5 rounds and it's close.
It's got to question the judges there.
Question the judges, and I think Adesanya and Romero, I think, will be a bit boring for the first few rounds, like I said, but then I think it gets to an absolute dogfight, war of attrition, and it could go either way, and I think Adesanya will just nick it. And that's my prediction.
That's
And
it.
like I say, it promises to be a feast of fighting. Check MMA latest YouTube channel, like, subscribe. We've got some SBG content. We've got content for the rest of the week coming out. We've got interviews coming with the SBG fighters ahead of Cage Warriors 1112. Me and Mitch will be at Cage Warriors. Me and James will be doing a watch along for the Adesanya Romero fight. Tune in. We'll have the popcorn and the whiskey. We'll also be at the Derby as well. Come on, United. We're looking forward to it. Great weekend of action.
Adesanya and Jedrzejczyk United win. Perfect weekend. And Jack Cartwright retains.
Jack Cartwright defends his belt. Looking forward to it. Have a lovely day, and we'll see you soon.